Oh, just a second.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the FPL Banger Show. My name is Siva. I'm joined by Sam. Game Week 31 preview, Sam. Of course, I guess you're looking forward to it, Sam. You had a very interesting week where you captained a guy whose name begins with the letter M. So did I. It went slightly different for I got 18 points and you got
2.
points, not the word.
Grand total of 2. But I'm gonna hold my hands up and admit it was probably not a good decision to captain someone who's just back from injury. I captained Mateta, playing promoted team, but he couldn't in the last 60 minutes, and there were signs. The manager even said, he's still rusty. It will take some time. Yeah, bad decision on my part. Good decision on your part, despite me challenging you, I guess. But it's all part of my master plan, I wanted you to do well. Did not want you to captain Salah, which I knew you would have eventually. So gave you a challenge, used some reverse psychology, and worked out for you.
Yeah, the moment you said, "Oh, Siva, you're too boring. You will never captain Marmoush," I thought, "Fuck, screw this guy, man. I'm going to captain Marmoush. I'm going to get my all." Yeah, I took that personally because I was a little scared. I opened the app on Tuesday night, and then suddenly I see 180% EO for Salah. I was thinking, "Oh, this is I'm really not used to this," but went out perfectly. And I think, look, captaining somebody playing Leicester just feels like how bad can it possibly go? Leicester's run now is 1 win in 14.
Worse than Southampton, I think. They are probably the worst team in the Premier League right now. Their team to target.
7 games in a row without a single goal. Just the 2 shots against City. This is a team that's speed running into the championship. And Van Nistelrooy's interviews each week just looks like a guy who he seems confused as to why they haven't sacked him yet. Which I guess we usually do captaincy at the end, but I think captaincy is kind of the main topic this week because Alexander Isak is flagged. Newcastle play on Monday night, so we're not going to get any more information after this. I just saw Eddie Howe's press conference and he said, well, wait and see. I haven't seen them today. So not very helpful because both Trippier and Isak are doubts.
Yeah.
How do you play this? Do you leave the captaincy on Isak and just hope he doesn't cameo? Or do you just be bold and put it somewhere else because you're worried he may come off early or sub on?
Will we get another press conference before the games?
No.
No news at all? Some leaks maybe?
It's Eddie Howe, mate. I mean, even if he says that Isak is fit, that could mean Isak's out for the season. I mean, this man lies for a living. Yeah.
Ooh. He would have been the standout captain, right? If he was fit. I think pretty much everyone would be captaining him. With him out, I wouldn't take the risk. Yeah.
Interesting. So you're scared that he may have a cameo appearance? Because I'm quite comfortable just leaving the armband on Isak, and even if he doesn't play, my vice will come in. Like I can't see a world in which.
I guess it depends. On your team. I'm not confident on my bench to come in and replace, but you just wildcarded, so you'll probably, you're okay if he were to be out. Who would be first on your bench?
Oh, first bench. I've got. I was going to say I got Foden for some stupid reason because I'm an idiot. I'll move things around. I'll probably have Konsa, which is acceptable. Like I mean, it's not a great option. Yes, Foden is on my bench. So I can make do. I just feel like my thinking is because it's a Monday night fixture, chances are he'll probably be fine. And I cannot see a world in which Howe plays him for 45 minutes and then takes him off. Like either he's fit and he starts, or he's not fit and then they just play Callum Wilson.
Yeah. Who is he fit?
I mean, he is fit in the sense that he's not flagged, but he's been awful. He looks way off the pace. He looks like he's done, basically. He came on against Brentford, didn't do anything. His last few sub appearances have been like that. And so my guess is that Howe would probably want to play Isak, just get and probably, take a lead and then take him off, which means Isak's probably scored.
Yeah.
So I'm comfortable to leave the armband on Isak.
Yeah, and I think at this stage of the season, he would want to push. Like it's not, you can't afford to give up points, right? So he has to play Isak if he's fit. Okay. I feel it. So we'll go back to captaincy later. All right, Siva.
No. Let's
No?
just
Well,
briefly.
you want to go through it? Yeah. Would you
No,
captain Isak over Salah? That's the question. Who, yes, despite blanking this week, has not really blanked in an away game for, I don't know, the entire season, probably.
hmm. I, we've always discussed this, Sam, but you know me, right? To me, football pitch is a football pitch. Away, home, they don't
Yeah.
make a diff to me. And
But
look,
there are,
yes,
yeah.
I will grant you, like Craven Cottage is not some fortress. I mean, it's literally called a cottage, right? So it's yeah. So yeah, I can see Salah scoring, but Fulham have been decent. Put up a okay fight against Arsenal. Okay, poor result against Palace in the cup, but apart from that, their form's been pretty decent. They're doing quite okay this season. Fulham away versus Leicester away, even with the flag, like this is not a contest.
Okay. Fair. I think that's fair. Like, this could be the 1 week where you can go away from Salah. Or is it just recency bias just because he blanked 1 week, whereas the week before he had 15 points,
It
and
could be
had not
hubris.
blanked
Yeah.
8 weeks in a row before the last game week.
It could go spectacularly wrong, but Salah's not even going to be my vice. Like that's how confident I am.
Okay.
I don't know what
Interesting.
you've done to me. What you've sort of unleashed. This
It's
somebody
just
who doesn't respect
hubris.
you.
Siva.
Yeah.
Like, you've been doing well, and now you feel like I cannot make a wrong decision. Everything I do will work out well.
I mean, I wildcarded in Phil Foden, so no, I don't have that kind of confidence. Okay, but let's. Okay, so captaincy seems like you're comfortable to also stick it on Isak. I think more important question: who's going to be your vice captain?
Hmm. Interesting. Let me just bring up my team. I have not wildcarded, so I don't have the optimal template team.
Yeah, which is good because a lot of people did not wildcard last week. I think especially a lot of people just felt like it's too soon. I just came back from break. I can't use my chip. It's not even the weekend. Like a midweek wildcard, everybody was. So yeah, Sam.
Um, I probably will bring in Saka this week, and Saka will probably be my vice.
I like that. Saka away at Goodison Park. Interesting. I mean, I did start Saka, and I was told, "Oh, you got lucky, and you're a casual," and I don't care. I mean, I knew Saka was going to come on and score. That was written in the stars. Is Everton away really the fixture you want to vice in, though?
I mean, I don't. First of all, it's a vice. I'm not captaining him. But secondly, I don't see many good fixtures apart from Newcastle. Spurs is playing Southampton, but no one has a Spurs asset. City is playing against United, so away as well, so not really an easy fixture. Chelsea is away against Brentford and not going to captain Palmer, despite him finally returning last week. So who else are you going to go for, Palace just lost, so I think the confidence on the Palace assets have been wavered. Yeah, who else are you going to go for?
Well, one of the teams you mentioned, I was going to say was City, because Man City play Man United.
Mhm.
United have only won 4 games in 2025, and 3 of those were against promoted teams, and the other one was 1-0 against Fulham, which they were very fortunate to get. I think it was like an injury time winner from Ahmad. Um, Again, United. Now, you may feel differently about the Forest game because I know a lot of fans think very positive performance, good XG, just unlucky with the result. But to me, if the way you concede is basically Anthony Elanga just runs straight at you and then your defense just falls apart, like I think Marmoush can do exactly the same thing, and City are a much better team.
True. But is City a much better team than Forest? I think you're overselling them a bit, or underselling Forest a bit.
I mean, going forward, I feel yes. I mean, Forest, once they got the goal, just sat back, which is their prerogative, fair enough. And United didn't have an answer except for throwing on Maguire as a striker. But I just feel
Who
like
generated more
United,
XG than Highland has this entire year in that injury time, in the injury time against
yeah,
Forest.
but that- but that's game state XG, Sam. You know, it's
Yeah,
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 you gotta, yeah, you know, like when you're playing FIFA, sure, you'll have 10 shots in the last 2 minutes of the game. That's just, you know, that's just how I think they call it DDA, you know, dynamic uh
yeah.
difficulty adjustment.
I get
Yeah.
it. I get it. I
Yeah.
think there's not that much difference from City and Forest.
Mhm.
And I mean, I'm not saying United is gonna beat City. I wish they will. I don't think it's gonna happen. But I don't really feel like it's a captainable fixture either.
Oh, the United fan in you, Sam. Despite all your, you know, every time you tell me, "Oh, I hate this team," they suck. But deep down
No, they
inside
do.
of you,
They do.
that
They do.
United fandom, it stays strong.
I mean, but United, they don't really lose big. Does that make sense? I mean, recently, this season at least, they had in history, the past 10 years, yes, we've lost really, really big against City. But recently, even our losses are 1-0 losses. We got loads of draws here and there. I don't see a high scoring match for City. Let's put it that way. 1-0 win, 2-1 win, something like that.
Okay, fair. So
That's a
you're not
vice.
sold.
Yeah, true. Stick on anyone, Siva. It doesn't matter. It's a vice.
I think this week is a week where your vice could be massive. Okay. I mean,
Assuming Isak gets benched. Yeah.
I think it is a realistic possibility. Like, I think it's a pure 50-50. I think if you're Eddie Howe and you come to Monday night, Isak's kind of a doubt, you'll probably just say, you know what, Callum Wilson, it's Leicester. You just have this
Yeah.
game. I could see that happening. So I think Vice is really important this week. And I'm generally quite cavalier about who I put the Vice on. But uh, business end of the season, we're last 7 weeks, like every hall counts. And I did consider putting the Vice on Jacob Murphy. Hear me out. The last time these two teams played, Jacob Murphy scored twice. He's in
Yeah.
good form. He's started every game since game week 14. Another assist this week, a really good assist for Isak. But Jacob Murphy doesn't feel sexy enough for a captain. That's my issue. You know?
Yeah. It doesn't haul. I mean, he has 2 hauls this season. Both were against promoted teams, Leicester, Ipswich. But generally, you will expect an assist from him here and there. And he's really good for his price. But as a
Yeah.
captain, yeah.
Yeah. And one last thing about Marmoush, right? Go on about it a lot, but I believe he's on pens. He's taken, I think he scored 8 out of 9 pens in his career. Nobody else in that City team, I think, would want to even take a pen. We know KDB hates taking pens. Foden doesn't really take. Grealish doesn't take. He never took them even at Villa, or rarely did. Savinio Doku. So I feel like Marmoush will take the pens. Marmoush also can take free kicks. He's got a decent free kick record. Scored quite a few for both Wolfsburg and for Frankfurt. So I think for me, Marmoush Vice, even over Saka, because as much as I love Saka and I went early, I wanted to get Saka in. Everton away does not feel like a fixture where Arsenal go crazy.
Mhm. Fair, I think. I just feel this week there are not many sexy fixtures except the Newcastle one. Everything kind of has their own drawbacks, their own risks and worries.
It is. I'm and in that sense, I'm slightly nervous that I don't own Palmer because, I mean, you obviously still have Palmer, and he did look good. Chelsea looked a lot better with Jackson back in the side. Um,
I did
but
bring that
I
up
mean,
last week.
you did. To be fair, and you were right. They looked way more cohesive. But how much of that is Chelsea being good, and how much of that is Spurs and Ange just having like, I mean, Ange lost the plot, right? He started, mouthing off to his own fans, started cupping the ears when they scored the goal. Then it got disallowed. Then he had to say, pretend in the post match, oh, I wasn't really insulting my own fans. I was trying to hear them better. So I put my hands to my ear.
Yeah. No one wants Spurs assets. Unfortunately, they have a good fixture this week. They might
They-
actually do well, but no one wants Spurs assets. I think, first of all, okay, moving away from Vice, right? Just talking about players in general. Whatever transfers you make will probably be a team who doubles, right? Unless you already wildcarded and you already, have loaded up. But most likely, you're trying to load out on the doubles. See if I can bring the doubles up for those who are not informed.
Okay, so let's see. Uh, as usual, Ben Krellin, go follow him. He does amazing things. So we've got the confirmed doubles. By the way, we didn't mention this at the start. I probably should have led with it. Game week 33 doubles are confirmed. But to be fair, like if you've been following this, you knew this was already going to happen. Game week 33 doubles are Palace play Bournemouth, Arsenal, Man City play Everton, Villa, Villa play Newcastle, Man City, and Arsenal play Ipswich, Palace. Arsenal, Villa, City, and Palace all blank in 34. So if you don't have a free hit, I mean, you're kind of basically you cannot invest that much in the double game week because otherwise you'll have nobody left for 34. If you got a free hit, I think free hit 34 to me already makes a lot of sense. Game week 36 doubles are in percentages there. We discussed this on last week's pod, but to make it very simple, it's dependent on the FA Cup semi-final results. Palace play Villa and Forest play Man City. And basically, the expectation, that's why it's in percentages, because Ben says there's a 10% chance maybe they don't move back into doubles, but he's pretty confident they will be, in which case it'll be one of Palace or Villa and one of Forest or City doubling along with their opponents. And then another blank in 37. So we could get to a game week 37 and you may suddenly need a lot of transfers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So come back to your point, Sam. As you said, right? If you're making a transfer this week and even if you've already wildcarded, like people like me who stupid enough to go for Foden or have Gabriel, like you already need to make a transfer soon. Maybe not this week, but soon. It's got to be one of Palace, City, Villa, Arsenal.
Yeah. Let's go one by one then. Palace. I think Palace has to be the priority, despite them, not hauling against Southampton. But they have double, so have to be a priority, right? Come on. Like they double in 32 and 33 for those of you who are listening, but not looking at the graphics.
Are they though? I mean, I feel like if you're talking about prioritization, I appreciate it's a double, but I would think Newcastle is the priority because it's a much better double, even if it's just one double. Like home Man United, home Palace. If you don't already have your triple Newcastle, I think you go and get. And I think we're probably agreed it's still Isak, Murphy over Gordon for me. Don't know about you.
For now, I guess, until Gordon really comes back.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah. Defense, for me, Livramento. Are you? I mean, as we said on last week, right? Kieran Trippier, like he's made of biscuits. Already an injury doubt. 1 week into most people's wildcard, so I'm not going there.
Yeah, agreed. And yeah, it does look like Livra is the best option, I guess. Although none of the defense particularly is appealing.
I mean, Burn and Livra to me seem quite like easy picks. Good for the price. 4.4,
Yeah.
4.5.
I mean, it's that kind of picks like, okay, they're good for price, so you might as well go for them. Don't expect too much. Don't expect a goal. They're not going to haul, probably. Neither of them really gets bonus points either. So it's just one of those, just get someone.
So speaking of defense, right? I think that takes us nicely to Arsenal. And for those people who already, like me, who already had Gabriel, I guess this is an interesting question for you, Sam. Would your replacement be for Gabriel? Would it just be get Saliba in? Or do you go cheaper with an Arsenal defender? Or do you go even cheaper, get a Newcastle defender or a Villa defender or a City defender?
Tough one. Do you want coverage of Arsenal's defense? How good will they be without Gabriel?
I think that'd
You're
be
an
pretty good.
Arsenal fan. Let me know. Yeah.
I think they'll be fine. I mean, I look at these opponents, right? Everton, they don't really score that much. Brentford, okay, yeah, Brentford's going to be tricky, but Brentford are such a set piece team to me. And so Arsenal should be able to handle that. Ipswich, Arsenal should handle. Palace, yeah. Okay, blanket 34. Again, these are for people, if you got free hit, this is very easy. Bournemouth, bad form. I mean, really bad form. How do you lose to Ipswich? Liverpool in 36 is like the only one that sticks out. But by then, Liverpool may have won the title. Maybe they rotate, and maybe Arsenal are the ones who actually want to win that game. So I think Saliba's fine for me. Yeah, Saliba and Kiwior doesn't inspire confidence, but we'll lose
You
against
go for
Madrid.
Kiwior instead because it's cheaper. No.
He is, but my feeling is that he's not going to start every game until the end of the season. I could be wrong, because we've got Lewis Kelly left back. We've got right back Ben White didn't play this week but should come back. Timber did play but picked up a knock. Then you've got Saliba, Kiwior in the middle. My feeling is that if Timber or Ben White are fit, or if they're both fit, then one of them comes into the center and then somebody else is playing right back. So it's a small doubt. I expect Kiwior to start this week, but just going forward, once
Mm.
White and Timber are fit, I feel like Kiwior is the one who drops out.
Okay. So a lot of uncertainty there, I guess. I think last season, Kiwior was like the undisputed number 3 centre back, I think. Like whenever
Yeah.
Saliba or Gabriel were injured. But now they have more options. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
So,
didn't even
and you can
mention
probably afford
Calafiori.
Saliba anyway, right? Yeah, Calafiori, who is out now, but may come back. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and if you got Gabriel, you should be able to afford Saliba. My feeling.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
and
What
I,
if you
I understand.
already have Raya? Would you still go on the double or maybe use this opportunity to move away?
So that's a good question, right? Because
Go ahead.
you poo-pooed this idea last week, Sam, and that definitely it definitely seeped into my head, because Mikel Merino, he's still scoring, he's still
Yeah,
playing up top, he's
yeah.
still 6 million, out of position midfielder, 6 million, playing for Arsenal as striker. Why? Actually, why isn't that the first move we're making?
I know, right? Like in theory, an out of position player playing for a top 6 team who is cheap should be the first person you're going for. Perhaps, yeah, we need to get rid of this bias that no, he's supposed to be a midfielder and not a natural striker. And
Played
double up.
90 minutes.
Saka, Marino, and Marino is so cheap you can easily double up. And then one defender, whether it's Raya or Saliba, whoever you have. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm for it. Although I think the problem is the midfield, you have so many options. Right. If you go double Arsenal, you have 2 more slots, right? Unless you're playing with 2 forwards. Okay, let's say you have 3. Got 1 City player. You have Foden, but you should have went for Savino last week, which I did tell you to, Siva. I did tell you to go for Savino. I think who did really well this week. I think Savino is just he's that player who even if he doesn't get 90, he can still come away with stuff and assist here and there.
Yeah, I feel bad that I didn't do Savino. This is one of those cases where this is the curse of having too much team value. If I
Yeah.
had you spoke so much Osiva, you got such high team value, but that came bite me in the ass, because if I had normal team value, I'd have gotten Savino, but had too much money, so when I got Foden, stupid of me. And never chase points, never chase prices. You chase points. So mistake on my part. Which is why it attracts me to Merino, because I feel like of all the mids you're going to own now, okay, everyone owns Salah, fine. You have a Newcastle mid, probably Jacob Murphy, fair, or Gordon if you're going early.
Mhm.
And then after that,
Palace mid,
maybe
maybe.
Palace mid. Okay, so it's one of Eze or Sa, probably. A Villa mid, probably Morgan Rogers.
And you still have Salah. Don't forget, you still have Salah. No one's taking him out of the team.
So it is. I agree with you. It is tight to fit 2 slots in, because you want to have Saka first, right? Yeah. So that's probably counting against Merino.
But if you do have the slot, yeah. Like if you haven't made a Newcastle mid transfer, right? Or you could do Murphy and then in 33 go Murphy to Merino, right?
That's not too bad.
To the hokey
Yeah.
and you get doubles.
Yeah, you really want Ipswich and Palace is like the money fixture. Yeah, Yeah, that's an interesting idea. And I think for those who wildcarded last week, I'm definitely gonna park Gabriel on the bench and reassess closer to 33 when I bench boost rather than doing anything this week.
You're gonna bench boost 33.
Oh, yeah. So yes, definitely. I'm that is the plan. But a lot of people are bench boosting 32. I'm going 33 because I've got some Villa, some West Ham. They've got good fixtures, and I triple captain 32. Isak.
Okay. I'm thinking triple captain Saka 33.
I don't know, man. I want to.
We'll see. I mean, it's a conversation for 2 weeks from now, anyway. But that's just
I mean,
my
it's a
idea.
conversation. It's a conversation for next week, because it's either you
Next
go
week,
next week or you go the week after.
or
Yeah.
36, possibly.
So
Which is one, right? Yeah.
36 is, this is, I mean, this is probably a debate for next week, but it is a really tough question because it's the 36 double. The issue is, right, it looks really nice on paper. You're looking at the screen now. You see Southampton and Bournemouth for Man City, and you think, okay, easy, Marmoush, triple captain 36. Um, you're probably thinking something weird, Sam, like Chris Wood against Leicester and West Ham, knowing you, because you see Forest there. But that's the thing. The 36 double is, we won't know it until after 34. So you are gambling. You could end up with maybe Forest make it through, and maybe, I don't know, Villa make it, Palace make it through. It just feels like it's too. I don't want to leave my chip until 36. If you've
Okay.
got more self control than me, then fair play. I don't.
Okay. Fair. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Bearing in mind also that whoever is doubling in 36 is a team that would have played the FA Cup semi-final. So already they're playing, fixtures back to back to back. So
Yeah.
rotation and all that. I just want to get my triple captain out of the way. I mean, should have done it earlier, but I want to get it out of the way as soon as I can.
Okay. Can we talk about Villa for a bit?
Yeah, we should.
Because they're doing well, and a lot of people are looking at them, but I am concerned about their fixtures. Because, we got PSG. They have an insane fixture list, but they also don't really have the depth, unlike other teams. And even this week, yes, a lot of us saw that Rashford came away with a return, Asensio halt, but they didn't start, or Asensio didn't start at least. So how risky? I really want Asensio because he seems to do well when he plays, but he only got 25 minutes this week. It feels so risky.
I think most goals of any player in this calendar year in England for Marco Asensio. But yeah, never starts. And then you got Rashford, who, started, scored, but then came off on 65 minutes.
Yeah.
I did read a quote from Emery saying that he's working. It's a work in progress. He says Rashford can play striker, Watkins can play striker, and his next job is to try and make them both play together. So,
Okay.
which sounds
And then
interesting.
you got Rogers, who starts and came away with a haul this week finally.
Not
But
great.
I think we discussed this last week as well. The fixture list is not kind. Like, you have to be somewhat superhuman to play 90 in every match in this upcoming run that they have. And if you were to bench Rogers, it will probably be that Southampton game in between the two PSG games.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't think we get early team news anyway. They're not the first game for that Southampton week. It's tough. It's really tough. I think with Villa, you try and wait a week. Like, this is not the week to do it. You try and wait one more week. If you're going in 32, you want to get a Villa asset because Southampton is still a good fixture. Like, whoever does play is probably going to haul. It's just figuring out who does play. It's hard to say, man. I really want to say that Rashford is safe for 32 because, yes, they should rotate, right? They've got a lot of options. They got Bailey, they got Marlon, they got all these guys. But even so, Villa are still chasing Champions League football for next season. And Southampton are not as easy a game as they were, say, maybe 3-4 weeks ago. Like you saw this week, draw against Palace. They were very close to winning that game. So if
Yeah.
you're Unai Emery, do you really bench people against Southampton, and I'm definitely pushing a narrative here, but do you bench against Southampton when you're probably going to lose to PSG anyway? Let's be
Oh,
real.
come on. Emirates Cup specialist, man. Villa's about to win their first Champions League.
Villa
Actually, you
fans
know what?
beware. They have won the Champions League before, sir.
I mean, first Champions League in the modern era, I guess, in the Premier League era.
No, but I look at the table right now. Villa are 7th on 48 points, and top 5 this year, by the way, should get into Champions League based on coefficients and stuff. So they are three points behind City, who are at 5th. I mean, if you're Villa, like, Champions League is still within grasp. I think you need to win against Southampton. So I think Rashford starts because he's the form pick, not Watkins.
Maybe. But I just feel there's so much uncertainty, like you're throwing a narrative out, but we don't really know for sure, right? I don't think either of us actually really know who will start.
I mean, Konsa and Martinez will start.
Yeah.
That
Yeah. Even Watkins, who normally I would say he would be assured, right? Because he has been that guy, like superhuman fitness in a way, plays 90 every single match. But this year, he has been, taken off early, rested. So, yeah, I'm not even confident in Watkins anymore.
Yeah, same. I'm not. My whole plan of going Isak to Watkins in 33 is very much up in the air now. Because he doesn't look like he last few games. I mean, he's come back from some injury, so that is there. But yeah, it doesn't looks like he's still a bit rusty. And if you've got Rashford scoring every week, I mean, 65 minutes every week is also not ideal. So one to decide, I think, next week. But if you have to go this week, let's just say, gun to your head, you have to pick a Villa mid this week. Who you bring in?
I want to say Asensio. I mean, he's got to start a game eventually, right? But it has to be Rogers, I guess, because he's the safest.
Yeah, and I think Rogers is the hardest to replicate. Like Asensio, Rashford, they all have like sort of natural replacements. I think Rogers is the one they don't have one for.
Yeah, it has to be Rogers.
Okay, so Villa. You're not liking the idea of a Villa defender as a replacement for Gabriel, I take it.
I don't. However, they did keep a clean sheet this week.
They did.
They did. So,
Pau
and they
Torres is
did
very
keep a clean sheet last week as well. 2 clean
They did.
sheets, finally.
I have bench back-to-back clean sheets from Konsa. I'm very annoyed.
It's 40% of their clean sheets for the entire season in this past 2 game weeks. 2 out
Insane.
of 5. But yeah, I still don't. I think there are better options, right? Unless you're bench boosting like you, then you can just leave Konsa on your bench and things. But if you're not, they are definitely not in the top 3 defenders that I think you should have.
Let me ask you something, because I saw a lot of people wildcarded Emi Martinez, and we can agree to disagree on whether that was a good idea or not. But if you already have Emi Martinez, I take it you are not going to get Konsa in that scenario.
Yeah, definitely. Right? Like, you're not going to double up on the Villa defense. One is way too much.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't, because I wanted to leave myself the option of having double Villa mids of attack. So that's why I only have Konsa, because I was looking at 33 and thinking I would really love to have Rashford and Rogers, or Rashford and Watkins, depending on the circumstances. I don't think that's changed, because their fixtures afterwards are good, and they may double again in 36. So
yeah.
Okay, that's Villa. City, I mean, Marmoush, Gabriel, still the safe picks. And I guess you're right, Savinho as your third pick.
Yeah, because I think even if he plays 20, even if he plays 40, 50, whatever it may be, like there's always a chance of a return from him. He seems to be the most creative player. Not seems to be, he is. Right? He has 11 assists this season. So, yeah. But don't expect big hauls from him. So he scored 1 goal the entire season.
Yeah, but max bonus, I mean, off an assist is very good, I think.
Yeah, it's true. He has 15 bonus. Yeah, and his 6.2 is cheap. So, yeah.
Okay. I mean, Palace. Yeah, you mentioned Palace, right? So we should probably finish up on Palace. If you're wildcarding this week, you know, I feel like you'll get tempted, Sam, as you get closer to Saturday evening. You're gonna get tempted. But
I'm
let's just
strong. I say strong, but it's actually stubborn. I'm stubborn.
so it's definitely one of those things. But yeah, if you were wildcarding this
Yeah.
week, who's your three Palace assets?
Still, probably the same that I have right now. Munoz, definitely. Still Sa, I think, despite him. But I think this week, is it an outlier? Could you just, if you forget about this week, he's been looking good, right? Like, none of them played well this week. And then Mateta, still, who hopefully by 32 will have enough fitness to actually play all 4 games and have decent minutes.
Hit the bar this week. I feel like the narrative would be a lot different. But I
Yeah.
do regret not going Evan Nilsson because I definitely had drafts with Evan Nilsson instead.
Just it doesn't double. So, people kind of, you're not looking at players who don't double. But I'm happy I brought Val Nielsen in, what was it, 2 weeks ago, I think. It's been good. So, yeah, no complaints. Whereas for the rest of the Bournemouth assets, a lot of complaints.
And I think Justin Clivett, I read, is probably still out. So Evan Nilsson could be on Pence. I mean, very decent
be.
pick.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's most of the items this week. I guess one last thing, right, is for people who have Palmer like you. Do you make the Saka move this week, or do you wait?
I think you don't.
Bear in mind
Yeah.
that Palmer plays Ipswich in 32.
I think you don't have to make it this week.
Mm.
Because, what you really want from Saka, the big money is the Game Week 33 doubles, right?
Yeah.
And Palmer has good fixtures in the next 2, decent fixtures, I guess. Like you said, Ipswich in 32. So if you're gonna keep Palmer, you have to keep him all the way to 32, and then go Palmer to Saka in 33 or something like that.
Yeah. Fair. Okay. I'm in agreement with that. Even though I already have Saka, like I wouldn't push any Palmer. And I thought, ultimately, no matter how bad Spurs are, very decent performance from Palmer. Looks like
Yeah.
he's like the team is functioning again with Jackson in there, and the assist for Enzo was amazing.
Yeah. And I think despite him scoring in 24 minutes, talking about Saka, there's still no guarantee that he will actually start this week, right? There is still a chance that Arteta wants to ease him back into it, so he may come on, but perhaps a bit earlier, around the 60-minute mark instead.
You
So
could be right.
yeah, I mean,
Especially
there's no
with
guarantee. So I think,
yeah, Madrid next week. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
now that I think about it, you could be right. I hope you're wrong. But yeah, it could be. Because, I mean, Waneri has played so well. Like, you've got,
yeah,
if you're Arteta, you have no issues playing Waneri.
yep. So perhaps, don't make it this week.
All right, fair enough.
And here we are. We've already talked captain. So is this the end?
Very efficient. Very efficient. We did reverse, back to front. But I think a lot of people this week won't be making transfers. So I hope you appreciated that we gave captaincy a bit more thought this week, which is usually the weeks where you do badly because you think about it too much.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, we'll see you for 32. Doubles coming
Yep.
in the meantime, sir.
And get your green arrows. We'll see you next week.